Welcome to Life with Cooney, Cry and I. In my videos I will be showing things to see and do mainly in the Brazoria County, Texas area. Some will be things that you can do anytime, some will be events that have happened. A few will be upcoming events that I will announce that I have heard about. I will try to focus on things that are more affordable and will try to include cost when I can. Please sit back and enjoy the story told by Cooney, Cry and I. Today I went to Abner Jackson plantation.
Hi mother, oh please tell me all about it. Is this for possums and coonies?
No, it's not, although at night I'm sure there are a few critters there. The Abner Jackson plantation is on FM 2004, near Highway 332, Lake Jackson, Texas. It is only open on the first Saturday of each month and very nice volunteers run it. The couple that was there today did not want to be on camera but have been doing this for decades and were very knowledgeable, kind and informative. They have a golf cart there for people to ride if mobility is an issue and give plenty of time at each location if you choose to ride. Abner Jackson Plantation. Born in Virginia, Major Jackson came to Texas in 1838. His first successful plantation, 1839 to 1842, was Retrieve Plantation, now the Retrieve Prison. Here he set up a sugar mill with a double set of kettles. In 1842, Jackson developed land which became the Lake Jackson Plantation. Here he constructed a sugar mill, which in 1852 produced sugar using horse-driven machinery. By 1858, Jackson had installed a steam engine in his sugar mill. Darrington Plantation, Jackson's third, is now Darrington Prison. Abnersons, Andrew, John, George and Abner, Jr. and Dr. R. Smith, wife of Jared Fulton Gross. In 1861 Abner Jackson died and his son, John C. Jackson, returned from the Civil War to manage the estate. Texas Society Colonial Dames 17th Century Rev. Richard Buck Chapter, Lake Jackson October 1997 Plantation. The walkway leading up to the covered bridge you cross to gain access into the Abner Jackson Plantation grounds is made of memorial bricks. Some of them have names on them. I was told these are names of donors that have given $100 to support this site. I never could find a yearly cost for the Historical Society to keep this open. But I was told it is run all by volunteers. Even the gardener was an older gentleman. As I was there, he was trimming the bushes, and said being on camera was not something he enjoyed, so I will not be showing him or anyone else working there. He did say he laid the brick walkway years ago when he was a contractor. On the side of the walkway just before you reach the entrance to the plantation is one of the two kettles used in the plantation. The other one is in the museum in Lake Jackson, Texas. At the entrance there is a place to give a donation. There is no specific amount required to gain entrance, so the cost to come here is up to the value you place on your visit. Information contained in this video comes from multiple sources: newspaper articles, speaking to volunteers, historical websites as well as Ancestry.com, so thank you for your information. Originally named Lake Place, the later renamed Jackson Plantation was a prosperous 6,400-acre sugar plantation worked by 80 slaves. In the 1830s, after a plunge in business, Hamilton and Jackson moved away from South Carolina to chase prosperity. In 1838, Jackson came to Brazoria County and began the Retrieve Plantation, which he co-owned with Hamilton. In 1842, he developed a second plantation. Originally named Lake Place, the later renamed Jackson Plantation was a prosperous 6,400-acre sugar plantation worked by 80 slaves. In 1858, he was the first to add a steam engine to his sugar mill and purchased the Darrington. By 1850, the Lake Jackson Plantation had grown to 3,744 acres. Abner Jackson and wife, Margaret, had 4 sons, Andrew, John, George and Abner, Jr. and a daughter Arsenath, wife of Jared Fulton Gross. In 1838, 28-year-old Major Abner Jackson arrived in Brazoria County from South Carolina. People prefer to view Abner Jackson as the richest man in the South rather than one of the wealthiest men in Texas. It was said Abner Jackson had a mistress Rosa who was of Native American and Black ancestry, which he fathered children with. Those offsprings are now the only surviving bloodline to the Jackson family, and the Black descendants of the slaves hold a family reunion once a year, normally on these grounds on or around Juneteenth every year. But death and the Civil War brought an end to the Jackson family's fortune. Abner Jackson died in 1861, deeply in debt. Jackson was the second largest slave owner in Texas. In 1857, Margaret Jackson died. Jackson asked his children and stepson not to claim their share of their mother's estate because he wanted to continue expansion. The same year, Jackson purchased the Darrington plantation for $116,200. Margaret Strobel, who had one son, Louis M. Strobel. Neither Margaret nor Abner Jackson left a will, which led to bitter feuds among their children, further dissipating their fortune and leading to a murder. In September 1867, a court order enabled George W. Jackson to gain control of the Lake Jackson plantation, but conflict remained between the two brothers. In December 1867, George W. killed his brother John C. during a confrontation at the Lake Jackson plantation. George W. was never prosecuted for the murder, and he died of tuberculosis on November 7, 1871, in Galveston. All of Abner Jackson's sons fought in the Civil War. Abner, Jr., died in the war in the spring of 1862. The 4 Jackson sons served in the Confederate Army. Abner Jackson Jr. was said to have been born in 1847 Brazoria County, Texas, and died in the year 1864, in Arkansas according to Ancestry.com. Andrew to have been born 1840, died in 1865 according to Ancestry.com. John C. Jackson on December 16, 1867. Murdered by brother George, his head was cut off. And one story was the ghost story, comes in 2 versions. One version states that George Jackson fired 6 shots into John's chest in front of the lake house because John tied up his inheritance and insulted him. Speculation why the case was dropped was locals depended on the Jackson family. I never could find much info on this. Arsanath Jackson Strobel married J. Fulton Gross, son of the wealthy Leonard W. Gross of Leendo in Waller County. On June 21, 1855. February 14, 1863, Compton Plantation, Brazoria County, Texas, called the Lady of the Lake. This site was founded in 1840 and was excavated during March through July 2003. Lots of things were found. Amongst these things are buttons, china doll parks, pieces of a broken plate, and several other things. These are at the Brazoria Museum on Circle Way in Lake Jackson, Texas. The pictures you are viewing at this moment are where the dig took place. You are looking at the sugar mill ruins. Abner Jackson's children all attended higher education. The children went east to obtain their education. 2 sons went to Norwich University, a military school in Vermont. 1 son went to school in Kentucky, the other son studied in Georgia. Arsanath, his only daughter, attended school in Columbia, Tennessee. Brazorians probably viewed spending money on a daughter's college education as frivolous. Other than education, the Jackson children's treatment appears unremarkable. The Abner Jackson Plantation archaeological site was once the home of a prosperous sugar plantation owned by Major Abner Jackson, namesake of the city of Lake Jackson. Like many structures of its time, the plantation was destroyed by the Great Galveston Hurricane of 1900. All of the buildings were destroyed in the 1900 hurricane. But at one time all the following was here: sugar mill, main house, storeroom, kitchen, prudery, washroom. All these have been dug, but the Historical Society would like to do another dig. It has been a while. The last dig was started in 1994 and lasted until 1995. Even though digs are important for history and learning about what was once here, they do take money, and at this point that is lacking, but one day they hope to do another dig. On January 1, 1863, Abraham Lincoln had ended slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation on June 19, 1865. More than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln had ended slavery, Texas slaves found out they were free. It was announced in Galveston Bay, Texas, June 19, 1865. We are looking at a part of the Brazos River that ran through the plantation and is still a major waterway. The Brazos River starts at Blackwater Draw in New Mexico and ends in the Gulf of Mexico. It is the 11th longest river in the United States. You are looking at what is referred to as Structure 1, they are not positive what this was. When they did a dig, several things were found here. They include metal from a harness, metal from a latch, a small china doll head and limb. One other limb was found at the sugar mill. They are all now at the Historical Museum in Lake Jackson. Set back, take a look at what you are now looking at. Do you recognize this tree? You should if you are familiar with the Lake Jackson area. Yes, it is the symbol or emblem of Lake Jackson, Texas. I myself was surprised and never gave a thought to that tree we see on many things, including the police uniforms. Now you know where that tree is. This could be the perfect place for taking graduation pictures or wedding photos. This oak tree is estimated to have been planted in the 1860s. This is a house or kitchen ruins. It was a 20 by 40 foot structure. Some of the artifacts that were found here was silverware, china pieces, and doll parts. These also are in the museum I will be showing you at the end of my video. An exact replica of this house was built by Dow Chemical as a place to throw company parties. It is on the other side of the lake. Some days I was told it could be seen from here, but today it was not visible. I'm not sure why. It is a clear day. I assume it was because of tree foliage. I thank the kind volunteers that helped me learn about this place that is so beautiful today but has such a dark past. I think it is a testament. Now our last stop, the Historical Museum, 249. Circle Way in Lake Jackson, Texas. It has several artifacts from the 1994/1995 archaeological dig. I want to see what was found. I do wonder what other things could be found that these grounds now hold as secrets to the past. Today I found my visit to the Abner Jackson plantation interesting. This plantation had a lot of slaves. I did find a list hanging on the wall in the covered bridge of the slaves' numbers and value. I found this shocking and sad. The youngest on the list was 1 year old and the oldest was 100 with a value of $0. I also learned the sugar and white flour was only used in the main or master's house, and molasses and cornmeal was used by the slaves. You are looking at what is referred to as Structure 1. They are not positive what this was. When they did a dig, several things were found here. They include metal from a harness, metal from a latch, a small china doll head and limb. One other limb was found at the sugar mill. They are all now at the Historical Museum in Lake Jackson. I hope you liked my video of the Abner Jackson plantation. I now understand why and how Lake Jackson got its name. Abner Jackson in total owned 3 of the 45 plantations in Brazoria County, Texas. This was one of 3 that people can visit. The others are privately owned or destroyed.
Wow, Mom, that was a neat story, but did you see any possums?
No, I seen lots of trees, though I assumed they were sleeping in them.
Do you think there were possums there back in the 1800s?
Yes, I think there were, and they came out at night to clean up the food waste and things left out just like possums do today.
Yeah, you're probably right, Mama.
Well, that's about all the information I have on the Abner Jackson plantation. Do you have anything to ask or add, my lit gray fur ball?
Yes, but if you liked Mama's story, please like and subscribe to our channel. When she tells stories, she always feeds a warm bowl of oatmeal. But please, Mother, hold that popcorn, yuck.